What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Cap Podcast, where we tackle the issues surrounding the greatest country. That is right, you heard me. The greatest country ever established. 242 years running strong. And you are fortunate enough to be alive at this very moment. I am one of your hosts, Josh Grunner, and sitting next to me is my good friend, Tyler Rivers. Tyler, how are we doing today?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing well as well. That's a weird way to say it, right? Usually it's, when you say doing good, it's like, that's not proper grammar. Well, doing well as well.
I'm doing well.
Doing good as well.
You know who else is doing well? Portland's mayor.
Portland's mayor?
Yeah.
Joke.
What up?
I guess that just jumps right into the topic then. Antifa.
Yeah.
Garbage.
Yeah, they went a little crazy.
They went a lot crazy.
They've been crazy.
A little too crazy.
Yeah.
A little too crazy.
So, for those of you who don't know, Antifa is a group of activists, claim to be
homegrown terrorists,
activists that publicly assemble in support of whatever fits their agenda, politically, culturally, racially.
It's a very PC way of putting it.
Well, I mean,
they're a terrorist group.
Well, put it this way. When I think terrorists, I think of Al-Qaeda. When most people think terrorists, they think of people bombing, people shooting, people hijacking.
Well, I mean, what's the difference?
Put it this way. I've never seen Antifa shoot up a school. Okay. I've never seen them blow up a Starbucks. Okay? I've seen them break things. I've seen them publicly destroy things.
Yeah.
So to call them a terrorist group is a little bit of a stretch.
They're striking fear.
But they're not killing people.
Not yet. They could.
I understandably so, and that's a judgment call for you to make in how you want to deal with them.
Sure.
But for naming purposes, I like to call them just a poorly assembled, peaceful mob.
Poorly assembled terrorist group who are cowards. Fight me on it.
Anyways, so they're basically a very left-wing, almost anarchist type deal.
I like that word. That's a good word for
they're those kids that in middle school never really talked and listened to screamo and just drew all day long with red hair, black long hair, greasy, never showered.
Their fingernails.
Those are those kids. All right. So nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that because I know some of those kids have turned out to be great adults.
Some of them are totally cool. Sure.
But some of those stay like that, and that's an issue. Some of those stayed like that, and I mean those because we don't use gender-neutral pronouns anymore.
Some of them never grow up.
Them and those. I don't refer to them as he or she anymore because who knows what might get offended.
Triggered.
But they're those. So in Portland, they have one of their marches, and they cause a little bit of disruption.
A lot of disruption. One of their marches. I like that. One of their rallies.
It's a march.
Yeah.
It's a march.
What do they do? Are they peaceful? Or are they just there,
No, they do. At first, I believe that most of their rallies become peaceful.
They start off peaceful?
I believe. Okay. From what I've seen through clips on the news, from CNN, the Washington Times.
Fake news, CNN?
Well, listen, so video doesn't lie, though. Unless it's a reporter doing it, typically videos don't lie unless they're scripted.
Careful, sure.
Unless they're scripted. But most of the time, especially when it's a public rally like this, you can kind of see how it starts off. And most of them start off peaceful.
Okay.
Because they're not swinging at random people walking up and down the street.
I wouldn't doubt that it started peacefully.
They get provoked. That's just the bottom line. Do
they get provoked or do they get triggered?
Well, it's the same thing. Provoked and triggered mean the same thing. It's how sensitive to it you are.
Okay.
So to me, let's put it for an example. Me and you mentioned earlier that 75-year-old man was driving his car.
In Portland, right? Yep.
And Antifa were blocking the street.
Yep. The stereotypical Trump is not my president girl directing traffic.
And basically this old man probably was nervous, had no idea what was going on.
I believe he was 75.
Probably had no idea. He wanted to take a right-hand turn, so he creeped through, and these people just started wailing on his car. I mean, kicking it, smashing it with whatever kind of tools or weapons they had.
At that point, right, instinct kicks in, like, I got to get out of here, so he starts to drive away, and they chase him.
And then eventually he notices all the damage, so he pulls up the street, And these people chase after him and start hitting him.
Yep.
This is a 75-year-old man.
Yep.
And I didn't see a single person come over to help him.
No.
After watching that video, not a single person came over to help him.
I know where you're going with this. I just want to really quick say, that's a terrorist action. A group of people attacking a man for no reason.
Sure.
They're striking fear
into
people because they didn't listen to what people are saying now, mob rule, right?
Yep.
They didn't listen to mob rule. They didn't listen. You can't go this way. Why? Because I said so. Well, what the fuck does that mean? Because you said so, I can't go this way? No, who are you? You're not the law.
You have the right to peaceful protest. It's a right in the United States. It's a right.
Sure.
You cannot...
You need permission from the city to peacefully protest.
You have the right to assemble.
That stuff, yeah.
That's part of the First Amendment.
Sure. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
But you don't have the right to create violence and to incite violence. And that's what they did.
You don't have the
every
right to
single
tell
one of those
they can't
people
drive their car. You don't have...
But even violence, as soon as somebody gets hit, in my mind, that protest should be over.
Yep.
As soon as somebody displays... Now, if it's a random case where, let's say, 2 guys get into it, and just 2 guys, and they have a scrap, and, okay, those 2 leave, fine, go on with your peaceful protest. But when it's the majority of the protest becomes
violent,
and I don't care if it's somebody from outside of the protest that comes into it, that, let's say, another group shows up to incite violence. Both parties should be done. Unfortunately, that peaceful protest, it wanted to happen, and it might have been happening, but both parties should have been done. My issue is nobody came to help that guy.
Nope.
Probably out of fear of repercussion or getting their ass kicked.
Well, I mean, you got to figure at this point there were maybe 6 or 7, probably even more than that. I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head the video. I saw it a couple days ago. 6 or 7 guys on him. What's one person going to take on those 6 or 7 people? They're going to probably.
Well, that's kind of my point. Is depending on the type of person, yes.
Yeah.
Depending on the type of person, they would have. I don't care if you're a big, small guy, or big or small. If you're fat or a gym rat in athletic, or if you're ex-military, or if you're an accountant. There are people of all types that would come in and try to help somebody, right?
I would.
The problem is...
I'd probably get my ass whooped, but it's no fair to have that one guy who's an older
I totally
gentleman.
agree. And I think that if you do that, if there's a situation where there's a rally going on, and all of a sudden they start attacking a single person, or even maybe it's 2 or 3 people. But because when you have a rally, there's maybe 50 people surrounding you. You should be able to go in there with whatever force necessary to defend yourself and them.
Agreed.
If they're coming at you with weapons and you're a concealed carry member, you should be able to unholster your gun, give them a fair warning, and if they still come at you with weapons, I say let them have it. Because I don't agree with the fact that you can be driving your car down a public roadway, be blocked by a protest, try to get through on your way, and then have them attack your car, especially outnumbered. I think you should just let them fly. That's just how I feel.
So I want you to think about this, right? The way the media portrays police officers, how would you say that is? Fair?
I would say fair. I feel like they don't... I feel like the media themselves don't bash police officers, but when a situation happens where police officers either use excessive force or
defend themselves from a criminal.
And defend themselves, they always portray it as, oh, look what this white police officer did to this Latino boy or this black boy. They always
see color and race, right?
Right, exactly.
So I want you to think about this. In Portland, I'm seeing this happen on the streets. I'm calling the police officers to come help. They're probably going to be like, well, if we go to this and we do something, the media is going to attack us because the media defends this type of stuff. They defend Antifa. All right, CNN, MSNBC, they defend these type of actions. So if I'm a police officer and I'm going into this being like, the media coverage on me is going to be, I don't want to be on ABC News being like, oh my God, what a terrible police officer. He's killing all these people or he's stopping this protest. What would you do at that point? So in my opinion, I would go citizens. It's up to citizens to help. It's not up to the police at this point.
I think it's all an honor. I think it's what you really care about and how your job and your life matter to you.
Sure.
I feel like if you're a police officer, you shouldn't care what the media portrays you as.
But I tread lightly on that, because if the media portrays you in a specific light, that could be your career. That could be your life.
No, because who's going to fire you? You're the police.
Not just I'm saying a specific officer or something like that. They're not going to fire, obviously, the entire police
department.
department.
But Portland Police Department will not fire an officer if he was defending a 75-year-old man from getting beat up.
It's not so much...
Even if the media portrayed him badly, they're not going to fire him.
It's the same if the type police officer argument that I'd use for the whole Brett Kavanaugh thing, right? The way he was portrayed, he was innocent. But your name is, at this point, synonymous with rapist or
sure, I think it's an honor thing.
Killer,
I think it's an honor thing. I think it's all about how you want to live your life.
Yeah,
I feel like if you're a cop that does things by the book, straight shooter to the law, and you go out there and you do what's right, everything will work out. And if it doesn't, if somebody flips a story on you and you end up getting fired, you should be totally okay with that. In my mind, I would
not be okay with it. I would not be okay with it.
But what I mean, not okay with getting fired, but I'd be okay with myself.
Sure.
Because I know in the end I did the right thing.
Yep.
If I got let go from my job tomorrow because my boss thinks I did something wrong, but I did the right thing to do, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
Because I believe it's how people should live their lives. You should do the right thing always, regardless of what anyone thinks. So my point is, in a situation like that, if I'm a concealed carry guy from Massachusetts and I'm walking around with my girlfriend or my buddies up in Maine and I see a guy 75 years old getting hit or yelled at or surrounded by a whole bunch of group of people, a mob and striking fear into him, absolutely would I go over there, brandish my weapon and say back the fuck off. And I call the police at the same time. Because nobody should be treated like that.
Now, I'm only half joking when I say this because a part of me genuinely believes this and genuinely wants this to happen.
Oh boy.
We need a Batman. We need someone to take the law into their own hands, be a little vigilante or something like that, coming down Portland, swooping in, and taking out these people with a little batarang, a little grappling hook. I'm half joking. I'm not joking, but I'm half joking.
I think that the laws should be looser in terms of vigilantism. In terms of citizens getting involved.
And citizens getting involved, yep.
I don't even believe a citizen's arrests are a real thing.
Why so? Really?
Because if in the day we live in the world we live in, unless you walk around with a body camera with video and audio footage, anybody who's anybody, especially women,
we're going to put the spin on it,
can spin it around on you, and you automatically lose.
Guilty until proven innocent.
That's how it is.
It's so wrong. It's so wrong.
It's like that everywhere. Regardless of what you're talking, regardless of the subject, regardless of the crime, it's like that anywhere.
I think so. I think honestly,
you could be walking down the street and see Antifa, and Antifa could chase you down an alley, beat you to shit, take all of your
fault,
take all of your money, take everything off of you.
Yep.
And you could never hear from any of them again. They run away. You go to the police and say, hey, listen, they beat me. Maybe the police a month later, they catch a guy that was part of that group.
Sure.
All of a sudden, they come out with a Snapchat of the guy taking a picture of you where you have your hand up in a fist, and now they get you for aggravated battery.
There's the spin, right? Yep.
And it's like, well, where's your proof?
See, this is why I say, I'm not saying all police officers are like this. Police officers are very brave, and they probably would not be like this. But it's not. It's something that they definitely have to think about this.
Right.
They're going in there, maybe they put their hand on their weapon, and then it's like, oh, look, he was about to draw his gun and shoot these innocent people. It's not like that. It's the spin that people put on it that I think is sick.
Well, you have a fire extinguisher inside of your house for a reason, right?
Put out fires.
Right. So why don't you have a gun to put down Antifa? I'm just saying.
I mean,
to me, it's the same logic.
If
it's a small fire and you can handle it yourself, you use a fire extinguisher. If it's a big fire and you can't, you call the fire department.
Exactly.
If it's Antifa and it's a couple dudes with brooms, why don't you use what you have? Use
what you got.
And in my defense, you should be defended.
Yeah.
If there was a rally going on, especially if it was I'm a firm believer now, you have the right to peaceful protest.
Absolutely.
But if your group has been violent in the past, there should be a police detail at all times.
Yes.
If your group has been violent in the past,
if you have back, logs of bad info and stuff like that.
Yep, I agree.
Why did they come up with the name Antifa?
I'm not too sure.
It's a really crappy name. Like, out of all the names in the world, Anti-fascist action smash fascism. Oh, here we go. Abolish capitalism. Oh, it's rotate. Abolish capitalism. Anti-fascist action smash fascism. That's all right. I mean, a 12-year-old write it? I mean, okay.
I mean, that's the thing.
They're the fascists. What do you mean abolish fascism? You guys are the fascists.
Well, I agree. So the anti-fascist militant groups in the United States. So
agree with me or die is basically what it is. Agree with me or we're gonna beat
the principal feature of Antifa groups is their use of direct action harassing fascists, racists, and right-wing extremists. But the issue is you're becoming the opposite of that. Your group is the opposite of that.
Yep.
You're just on the other spectrum. You just believe in abortion.
Well,
I mean that jokingly.
It's dead ass. Like, it's agree with me or you're wrong and we're going to beat you up.
Right. And on the right wing, we have those too. Agree with me or we're going to beat you up. You're just the opposite.
I don't think there's any right wing. What like
KKK.
Okay, KKK.
If you're not our color, we're going to burn your house down, kill you, and burn a cross in your front yard.
Okay.
The same thing along with that is fascism, is Joseph Stalin, is...
I get that argument too, but
Hitler.
There's no one on the right that's been doing that.
But it doesn't matter. I mean, those groups exist, though. There are people like that out there. It's not...
Nazis sucked. I'm not saying Nazis don't... Nazis are terrible people, but Nazis aren't going down the street beating up an old man for no reason.
That's not the point, though. Antifa sees this as individuals, not as a group, not hey, Tyler Rivers and Zach and John and Steve and Carl and Devin are all part of this group of right-wing extremists. Let's go get them. Right. They look at it as certain people in the vicinity tend to lean more towards the right and are probably extremists. Let's go beat them.
Yeah.
They're not out for a specific target. They're out for the generalized idea.
Yes.
And that's the issue.
There's no actual genuine motive.
But by doing that, they now become the Hitler and the Joseph Stalin.
They become what they hate, right?
They become the group that's trying to press upon everybody else.
They're so dumb. Like, where in the educational system did we go wrong with these people?
That's what I'm saying.
Where did we... What traumatic experience made you this way? It's always like... That's always fascinated me with certain criminals and such like that. Is if you're... what is that profession called where you're... Therapist, right? A therapist for a prisoner?
What? Yeah.
Or a counselor for a prisoner or something like that. You listen to basically their problems and you become more aware of how they became so... criminally whatever, right?
Right.
We need to do that with Antifa, all right? We go to Portland and we find that disgusting creature that was standing there saying, you can't take a right turn here. All right, I'm going to put you in a chair. I'm going to just talk to you. You'll probably go crazy because, words hurt, but what went wrong in your life to put you in this scenario? What happened to you?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That's I feel
I'm
like
not trying to sound hurtful when I say that or belittling because I'm sure that something might have happened that these people are now just mentally ill.
Here's the thing that you probably would not expect me to say right now.
Go ahead.
Is I agree with the fact that they are standing up for something. Even if it's wrong.
What are they standing up for?
Well, hold on. So even if it's wrong, even if we don't agree with it, you have people getting off of their couches
and doing something,
but they're doing it in the wrong way. They're sending the message in the wrong way, and they're doing it wrong, yet they still have their beliefs. And I think that when people have a belief, either they do it the wrong way or the right way. I think it's a good thing to have. Most people don't use the kind of action that Antifa does. Now, I'm not saying Antifa should go around and beat people up and incite violence, no. But at least they get up and they pretend to protest.
Pretend to...
Because most people that sit behind the keyboard and will click around all day, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No. I don't 100% agree with what you said because you can stand up for something and be dead wrong and you should not stand... Right. You could be dead wrong on what you want to stand up for. And you should not stand up... Nazis standing up for hating Jews and colored people, right? That's wrong. You should not stand up for that. You can't defend that. There's no right action for that. I don't think Antifa
has a leg to stand.
Yeah, you can believe in it, but it doesn't make it right or anything like that. And so my whole argument with this...
But it doesn't make it right to you. I understand. Morally, I understand the grounds of which you're talking about.
This is a whole other rabbit hole to jump down, but I see what you're trying to say, too.
You're standing up for something.
Yeah.
In which you believe, and you should always do that. Regardless if you think it's right, stand up for it.
Yeah.
Regardless of what anyone else thinks. Now, people, you might have the majority against you.
Yeah.
You might be just an idiot. But you're your idiot.
You're your idiot.
Antifa is your idiot.
Ain't nobody gonna tell you ain't stupider than me.
That's how I feel like Antifa acts.
They are just... I have no idea what could have possibly went wrong in some of these people's lives.
Right. Yeah, so...
It's sad.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
How do you feel about public destruction? Like when they break windows in Starbucks. Do you think these guys should be arrested on scene? Just, hey, listen, I saw you throw the rock at the window, you're arrested.
So what gets me is if I lived in a hypothetical town, let's say I live
Seattle, Washington.
I don't want to live in Seattle, Washington. They're weirdos. I live in Grant, Mississippi. Okay?
Damn.
Looking at Ulysses S. Grant over there. I got him on my wall.
How you doing?
Grant, Mississippi. Don't know if that's a real place. If it is, how you doing, people in Grant, Mississippi? Okay? I live there, and something happens that upsets the town folk. And they go and burn down all the general stores.
And pillage.
They're destroying the roads. They're ripping down statues. They're doing their thing. They're
Walking Dead.
They're rioting, basically, at this point. I would be like, are you people stupid? Y'all know you're going to have to pay for this, right? It's not free. The tax dollars that, go to the town are going to be used to rebuild everything. So you're basically breaking something that you're going to have to pay for again. Y'all are dumb.
Right.
Wasting money.
Very dumb.
And you're going to need stuff later on. You can go, pillage and get all the toilet paper and paper towels you want. You could take the flat screen TVs and such.
Yep.
The stuff's going to run out. It's just material, right? Even your TV won't work after a certain point. You're paying for it anyway. You're paying for it. Even if you just go and steal that $1,000 TV, you're paying for it in your tax dollars.
Right.
People drive me absolutely insane. I always joke on the left how they get triggered easily. I get triggered easily by stupidity. Stupid people trigger me. And people that go and burn down their own town are stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never understood that. I've never understood why anyone would want to publicly display any kind of violence, number one. Because when you do that, nowadays everybody has a phone in their hand.
Oh, that's something that I love. If you capture one of these dumbass people and they get plastered all over the internet, they get exposed, I hope they never get a job.
Well, here's the issue with that.
They don't deserve a second chance.
Here's the issue with that for guys like me.
Go ahead.
When you want to hit somebody in public, when someone just deserves to get hit, when you have an issue with somebody...
This person has a particularly punchable face.
Well, no. I'm not saying hitting people for no reason like they do. I'm saying you have an actual reason to want to hit somebody.
Okay.
Right? Whether they're yelling at their girlfriend, whether you see this guy whack his mother across the face, whether you see this guy kick a baby, whatever the situation is, and you just want to discipline them on your own. You want to put justice in your own hands. Nowadays, you can't get away with anything.
No.
You used to be able to go, hey, buddy, come here. And you used to be able to whack him in the teeth, have him fall to the ground and walk away. And everyone would go, oh. And then it'd be over, right? Yeah. The guy would get up and walk away and hopefully never do it again. Probably would.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you can't do that anymore. As soon as you touch somebody, you're going to jail.
Yep.
That's messed up.
Yep.
I would consider the country right now in 2018, we're a police country where you can't put justice into your own hands. There's no way for a citizen to get back on another citizen without it getting legal.
Yeah, I mean, you can't even go on social media and bash the person because
harassment.
You're bullying or harassing.
Harassment.
Ugh,
you can't
nowadays.
publicly expose anybody because that's also harassment. You can't. There was a teen in Weymouth, and I would consider this something Antifa would do. There was a teen in Weymouth that called a business multiple times within a week, saying that he's going to go there and blow them up if they don't refund. Something about a refund. He was going to go there and ruin their company, destroy their building, blow them up.
Terrorist.
The police department of Weymouth bashed down his door and arrested him. He barricaded his door. They bashed it down.
Well, that's rightfully so.
And they arrested him. Now he's facing, it's a felony.
Yeah.
To use terrorist threats.
Yeah.
All of these members that harassed that old man should be facing 20-year felonies.
Absolutely.
That's how it is.
Well, you know, there's something here. I was going to say, remember back in the day? We weren't alive then.
Yeah.
You go back to like the 30s and 40s and such like that. Kids growing up then, I've heard stories of like, oh, you know, you go down to the candy store or something like that and you try to steal some candy and you're like 12 or 13 or something like that. The candy man can hit you.
Yeah.
The candy man can hit you because you did something wrong.
Yep.
Your parents aren't home, you're home alone, and you're going outside and you're ripping up your mother's flowers in her flower garden. The neighbor sees it. The neighbor comes over and beats your ass.
Yeah.
We need to do that again, man.
Oh,
we
we
need to refresh it. Once 2020 rolls around, we'll just hit the big reset button.
That's
right?
the thing. People didn't get out of line like they do now.
No, because there was nowadays, if you hit your kid, they'll call child services, and then the parents will get in trouble.
Yep.
That's wrong, man. Some kids need to be disciplined.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is you should be able to put justice into your own hands. Now, I'm saying there needs to be accountability. Where
to an extent, I'm not saying you need to beat the shit out of them, but a smack in the face.
Right, I'm
saying
if you get in a scuffle with another full-grown man, you should be able to handle yourself.
Yeah.
Nowadays, if everyone wants to be equal, you get in a scuffle with a full-grown woman, you better beat her ass.
I still think that's such a weird thing to say.
But that's what it is nowadays. That's the reality you face. Here's the reality you face.
Because kids were so pampered and we never got hit, or the neighbor never hit us, or the candy man never hit us. When we grow up, we're pacifists. We don't want to get involved. We don't want violence.
Right.
And that's why everyone's got all these issues and everything like that. You gotta toughen these kids up.
Well, I saw a great thing on Facebook that I watched, and it's a documentary that's coming out in 2019, and it's about how in America we are very coddled. And I mean everybody. Almost nobody is immune, because in America we don't have any violence.
Yep.
Where I think it was in like 40 countries in the last 10 years, they've either had government violence against the citizens.
Wouldn't doubt it.
War violence within their own country.
Sure.
So they've been around guns, or police violence.
Yep.
So one of those three factors, 40 countries have had to deal with. And some of them were big countries.
Mm-hmm.
India was one of them. So my issue is America's been a utopia for quite a while now. We're coming to the point where it's going to tip, where we're going to see something on our own grounds soon. Now,
what do you mean see something on our own grounds?
Whether it's a war, whether it's government involvement and military involvement towards the citizens and police involvement,
the citizens. That's how it could be, because
whether it's private groups like this, domestic terrorism.
Yeah.
So I feel like you need to learn how to defend yourself, defend others. You need to learn how to take matters into your own hands. You need to know the laws, what you can and cannot get away with.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it should be a lot looser. I think you should be able to do what's right.
And for anyone who's overseas listening in like Europe or wherever, Asia, don't care, and they're like, what is he talking about? America's not a utopia. They have so much gun violence. They have so much of this. They have so much of that.
None of my friends have ever been shot. I don't know anybody that's ever been shot.
It's sampling. Here's something Michael Moore will never tell you in his documentaries. Oh, America's got so much gun violence, blah, blah, blah. Let me eat a cheeseburger.
Yeah, he walks down the streets of Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the sample size. We have 320 million people here. UK has what? 20 million?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
UK is the size of a shit that I just
And
took,
everybody gets shanked over in the UK.
Tiny. Yeah.
Over a pint of Guinness. Oh, sorry, UK.
God.
No, but here's the thing is like...
So, yes, we're a utopia. America is better than your country.
Damn.
We'll watch the Steven Crowder
Damn, I hope you get some rude comments coming out of that.
Have you ever seen that? The
DM Josh Gronin and tell him how rude he is. Please do it.
America is the greatest country. There's a Steven Crowder video on it where he goes to like some Texas DNC thing, and he's dressed up as like Uncle Sam. It's hilarious, and he's like, America is the greatest country, changed my mind. And he gives them factual evidence as to why America is the greatest country of all time.
America is the greatest country of all time.
Yeah,
I am fully convinced of that.
It is.
But the issue is people do think it's all sunshine and rainbows.
Oh yeah.
And they're so complacent. A lot of American men nowadays lift less than a woman does.
What do you mean?
Just weaker.
I don't know. If
I would. Oh, I would totally agree with that.
I don't know if I believe that.
Oh, I would totally agree with that.
I still think biology plays a factor.
No.
Men are inherently stronger than women. And that's going to trigger some folks, but,
no, but I think,
genuinely believe that.
I think that men are not built like men anymore.
Oh, I'll agree with you on that.
Men are not built like men anymore.
Yeah.
And obesity is a real thing in America.
I agree 100%.
It's a huge thing in America.
They have us on that.
Get it?
I'll say that. They have us on that.
It's a huge thing. Antifa, a huge thing in America.
Yeah.
Obesity, a huge thing. Both are a problem. Both should be eradicated.
Yeah, but the notion that any other country is better than America, there's no argument for it.
Right.
We may be the fattest. We may not be the smartest.
No matter how many silly mobs we get, no matter how many Portlands there are, no matter how many Seattle, Washington, San Francisco.
Oh, God, you know what? This actually just reminded me of something. Sorry to cut you off. It was actually something I think to do with an Antifa mob. It was someone had written. I forget who the news columnist was. I don't want to say it was the New York Times, but I wouldn't doubt if it wasn't the New York Times.
Sure.
That the American the headline was "The American Experiment Has Failed," and it's like, well, what do you mean the American experiment has failed? What does that even mean, right? We were the first country of our kind to come up with a constitution, to come up with laws, innocent until proven guilty type thing. Might have been off the Kavanaugh hearings or something like that. But the caption was "The American Experiment Has Failed," and he goes on this big rant saying that. We're lesser than all these other countries, and blah blah blah. And it's like, does he not understand why the Constitution was made? We were leaving those countries. Why would we want to be more like Europe? We left Europe. We don't want a king. We don't want a queen. We don't want to be ruled by a monarchy. We want to abide by the Constitution. We have rights. I have a right to talk on this podcast and say what I want to say without fear of being in jail. If I were in Canada saying, I'm not going to use your gender-neutral pronouns, I'll be in jail. I don't want to be in jail for saying that. I could be here, and you could say, you have to call me Joan, okay? No, John. You have a dick.
People talk about
you have a Y chromosome.
People talk about we need to get rid of.
That's dangerous.
People talk about we need to get rid of this old, silly, 300-year-old piece of paper that some white dudes, and they always bring up that they're all white, because obviously they were all white. Are you kidding me?
Europe.
Are you kidding me?
It doesn't even
go to Europe. Back in the day, they had slaves.
They got rid of their slaves first. I will say that.
I get that, but everyone over in Europe was white.
Yeah. There's a reason.
You go to Africa back in the day, everybody was black.
Actually, there's a scientific theory that everyone in the world was black at one point.
Totally agree.
Everyone in the world migrated. Oh God, there's like this professor who studied it. That's a whole nother rabbit hole to go down. Look it up.
No, I totally agree.
Just Google everyone in the world black at one point? ? Don't Google it. Bing it.
Google. I hate Bing. Bing is horrible, actually.
You watch your mouth.
No,
you watch your mouth over there. But it's like everyone thinks that these people back in 1776 writing their Constitution were dumb. They knew what they were doing. They're not dumb. Our system works. Our system works, especially on the notion of innocent until proven guilty. That is something that's so important. So important. That's why, way back in the day, we would just burn witches at the stake because they were guilty until proven innocent.
Right.
Terrible.
Yeah, horrible, dumb. Horrible.
Oh, I gotta find that article. If I find it, I'm gonna send it to you. The guy is such an idiot. The American experiment has failed. No, the American education system's clearly failed if you think that.
Yeah. let me touch upon something that kind of circle back to our original topic, which was Antifa.
Sure. Yeah.
Black Lives Matter. I'd put them along the same category as Antifa, just with different motives.
I think they're a hate group as well. I do. I think that they're.
I think the word hate group is a perfect term for that, for what they are.
Yep. They incite violence as well. Their protests are not always peaceful, and this goes to the other notion that I wanted to talk about as well. What was it? That Democrats are the party of racism, right? You have like the Dixiecrats and stuff like that, but Kanye was in the White House, right, talking about Republicans and stuff like that.
Did you see what the guy from CNN said?
Don Lemon.
Oh my gosh! Can you imagine if a president brought a rapper, and then there's Obama standing with like multi-millionaire rappers, Rick Ross, DJ Khaled, Nicki Minaj, and all these people were in the White House, and this guy has the audacity to go, "Can you imagine if a president brought a rapper into the Oval Office?" That's
Don
a sacred
Lemon
area.
is so ignorant. He is
so dumb.
ignorant.
How are you that dumb?
The dude is an idiot. Why he hasn't been fired is
I think idiot's a little too offensive. I like the term dumb.
Retard. How about that one?
Oh.
Triggered. No, why he hasn't been fired amazes me, but that shows that CNN is just the most divisive news network. But where I'm going with this is, I don't remember where it was on Twitter somewhere. I want to say it was Candace Owens who tweeted it. Do you know who Candace Owens is? You should look her up if you don't. Look her up if you don't.
Really don't.
She's very, very smart. She's a very smart woman. And I think it was her that tweeted it out. And it was basically Common and Snoop Dogg who were being racist towards Kanye West, calling him things that I'm not going to repeat because someone might get offended. But it's interesting that people that you don't agree with Donald Trump, they will automatically they always inject color and race into it and stuff like that. Kanye always comes out saying that he's an independent free thinker and all that stuff, right?
Right.
And then if you disagree with Kanye, he's mentally ill or he's a house Negro was one of the things that I think they said, which is incredible. Like, why would you say that? That's incredibly offensive. Against
someone
Kanye.
Of your own race. That's my issue, is that all these dudes in other songs, they say whatever they want, and they create a culture that a lot of people hate.
It's interesting. Like, I'm not saying...
But they promote it.
I'm not saying that anyone needs to use the N-word. I don't think anyone should use the N-word, but that's not my...
I don't even think people that are of African-American descent should say the N-word. In any word. The N-word should never just be a word ever.
I get it. They took it back like women took the word bitch. I get it. It's cool. It's not my place to say.
No, they didn't. They didn't take that word.
It's not my place
to say. A female dog is considered a bitch.
Women took it. But the whole point I'm trying to make is...
You're a bitch.
It doesn't seem like Republicans are the ones that see color and race. It always seems like it's the Democrats that see color and race. I agree. And want to keep division.
I agree.
And they don't do anything. I mean, look at all
I don't know. Trump's a white guy. And
he's a lot white man.
And a lot of low-income to middle-income families, regardless of your color, receive tax breaks. Go figure. That helped everybody.
Yeah.
Why not support plans that help everybody?
Yeah.
Why keep bringing up what color skin you are?
Yeah.
To try to get more. There are scholarships in this country for people that are of African American descent.
Well, what is it? Affirmative action type thing that always bothers me. Affirmative action is not good.
No, it's horrible, actually.
I'll tell you why. Because, we have to have a certain percentage of this ethnicity here. The whole Harvard thing. Have you seen that? The whole Harvard University scandal right now?
No.
Not to include Elizabeth Warren in this because I hate talking about her, but how she's 09 whatever % Cherokee. We'll get into that in a minute. She actually, you know what, I'll get into it now. The Harvard thing has to do with Asian people suing them over reasons. I don't even know what. But affirmative action basically makes Elizabeth Warren... She wrote down on her Harvard application that she was Cherokee. And people think, I don't know if it's proven, but they think that that's what gave her the edge to get into Harvard.
Sure.
Whatever, maybe. But the whole notion of affirmative action where we have to have this percentage of this ethnicity and this ethnicity as opposed to the best people, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's dead wrong. I get arguments behind it where, well, say, for example, black communities never had it as good as white communities where the education system there might not be as good. I totally get that argument, and I'm not dismissing that argument. But at the same time, is it really fair to say this person is the most qualified they deserve to be in, but we can't let them in because we need this percentage of this race? It's wrong.
Right, yeah. You should never have to compromise integrity, work ethic, and values for somebody just because they're a different race. Or different culture, or different religion, or whatever. Right?
It's skills.
You can't be an equal opportunity employer.
Yeah.
And favor one race over another.
Absolutely.
It doesn't make any sense.
No. Shouldn't see race. Shouldn't see color. We all human. We all bleed the same. I always love that expression. We all gonna end up in the ground. How it goes. Love that.
But the issue is we can't do that anymore. So the affirmative action was great, maybe in the 70s and 80s. It should have been let go after people got over it. That's what I believe.
Maybe.
Coming out of the point of you had to drink out of different bubblers and you couldn't use certain restrooms. After that point, when people started to become more okay with it, you should get rid of that, and you should leave it in the past.
Yeah.
Most people like to bring it up.
I wouldn't dismiss... You know, it's so funny that Democrats want to erase history of, like, you know, the Confederate statues and all that stuff. And don't get me wrong, I can go on a tangent about the Confederate statues. I don't think they should be up either. But they're like, oh, we need to get rid of this history, but we can't forget the history that happened in the 60s. And stuff like that.
Right.
It's like, it's all American history. We did a lot of terrible things. We did a lot of terrible things in this country, but what I would say is that
I don't think we did anything as bad as any other country has done, though.
I would agree with that statement.
I think every country's done bad things.
I would agree with that statement 100%.
Because it's a country. It's not a utopia. It's not perfect.
What I'll finish with, America's a utopia. We're perfect.
Negative.
What I would finish on that, though, is that we did a lot of bad things, but I would never, ever, ever say the world would be better off without America. Because if anyone thinks that, y'all would be speaking German or Japanese right now.
Not even. You'd be speaking... The entire world at this point would be speaking Russian.
No, I don't think the Russians. I think that...
If America was wiped off of the face of the earth right now, Russia would take over the world.
Right now, maybe. But
no, not maybe. Definitely. There's no other force on earth that would stop... No, China would not stop Russia.
I don't know. I think China could take Russia.
No, negative.
That'd be a fun war to watch.
No, it would not. There is no force on earth.
Dude,
because the UN would crumble. The United States does so much work with the UN.
Get me on that one, too. You know who created the idea of the UN? Truman and America. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Elizabeth,
he had flat eyes. That's a real thing. He had flat eyes.
Elizabeth Warren's DNA test shows how she is weaponizing transparency to take on Trump in 2020. Time just reported.
Oh, oh, God. I didn't want to get into the topic of her being... I'm probably more Cherokee than her. I want to take one of these ancestry tests. I think I'm more Native American than she is.
It's pretty crazy.
There's actually some statistic... I'm not going to get into it right now. I don't want to talk about her. She is so stupid. She's an embarrassment.
She really, really, really wants Donald Trump to release his tax returns. And he's just not going to do it.
I don't care about his tax returns.
That's what I don't care about either.
I don't care. Who cares about his tax returns? We're back on this now? Come on. Oh, every president in the past has released their tax returns.
Yeah.
I don't care. No president ever made fun of a disabled person. Trump did. Who cares?
Yeah.
He is doing well for the country. People have more money. Unemployment is so low.
He gave up his entire pay.
Yes, and that's something nobody ever talks about. He gave up his entire year. I think the president makes, what, $400,000 a year? He gave all that up to charity, and I think it was for veterans, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
What a good guy. He is poorer being the president.
Yeah.
Then he didn't have to be president. He wanted to be, not for money, like most people, Hillary, Bill, Monica.
Yeah, Monica
Lewinsky. Doing a little something dirty. Did you see Hillary Clinton had a interview recently where she said the Me Too movement has nothing to do with what Bill Clinton did in the 90s and the whole Monica Lewinsky scandal? The fact that Monica Lewinsky even defends him is weird to me. I mean, he's a serial rapist, right? Not proven. Kind of proven. I still love... What was it, the second or third debate for the presidency? Donald Trump brings in all the women who accused Bill Clinton of rape and had them sit in the front row by Hillary Clinton. Oh my God, what a baller move. Do you got something you want to read?
No, I'm actually just very interested to read up more on this.
The whole Elizabeth Warren thing?
Yeah, because it just looks really dumb to me. I don't understand.
She is very dumb.
Yeah.
She's very dumb. We can make her the topic next week if you want.
Yeah.
She's so frustrating to me.
You know what we should do next week? Talk about the election.
Midterms?
We do midterms.
Okay.
That's cool.
There's an election coming up November 6th.
I like it.
I'm trying to vote Elizabeth Warren out.
Who's going to win? Who's going to lose?
Hopefully Elizabeth
Tyler Rivers for state representative.
State representative. I'd vote for you.
Let's do it. Get me in the House of Reps. Let's do it.
Get him in. All right. That's it. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at @TheCapToday, at Instagram @TheCapToday, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Adios.